Part 2 of the longest rambling recorded in history. The story that doesn't go nowhere. So, if you were born in the 90s, if you were lucky enough to be born in the 90s, you possibly heard of the story that never ends. This is the rambling that never ends. You're welcome. Exclusivity in Vendetta. I'll be going to the office today to trademark that shit. I was talking about how I'm not sure what to do, and it doesn't matter because with the making of the content, right? There's a lot of time where I'm like, hey, not too sure what I'm doing. There's a lot of time where I ask myself, what is actually going on? I know what you're saying. This is insane. How can you even think about what is going on? Because a lot of time when I'm making content is because this is the only thing that I have to do. A lot of time where I'm online is the only reason. It's the only social aspect that I have, right? Going through depression, I've been calling my parents more, and I'm lucky because they're answering. And then a part of me believe that or think that maybe because I'm lonely, right? But then it's the opposite because it shows how reliant I am on social media. I pride myself and I brag about being a dude that doesn't need to be talking to people every single day. Doesn't need to be talking to people for hours upon ends, right? All I need to do is make content. But then the content became kind of toxic, and it's such a good such a good concept because the content being toxic isn't necessarily the content creator being toxic. It's not necessarily the ID being toxic. It's not necessarily the concept being toxic. It's not necessarily the guy doing some horrible deeds in the background. Hashtag Minecraft streamers. Hell yeah. It's more so how we feel about making content. For me, making content, this is very much personal. This is very, very personal. This is not a good idea to talk about it, but fucking bore. What the fuck did I do when you took out my name back in June? What the fuck I'm crying for? Ninetales. Good song. Good soup. Good soup. So, making content became my only way of being social. Now, I want you to go back about an hour. I want you to go back about 48 minutes and 27 seconds ago when I was talking to you guys about one of my needs. One of my needs was what? Was social interaction. It's crazy. It's crazy. And I'm gonna say it's so outrageous. So outrageous. I don't even want to talk about it. I don't even want to say it. I don't want to say it. I want to scream it, but not here. Then, the social aspect is good, but it's problematic because I'm not being myself. I'm being reliant. I'm being desperate, right? I need to talk to someone, right? There's this trend right now. They're making videos like, I could use a hug, but I turn to drugs. Fine. Then, we have this mentality that making a video is the best use of our time because the reality is I don't have anything to do. If I'm not filming, I'm playing video games. And if I'm playing video games, I want to stream it, which is making content, which is also socializing, right? So then you're making videos. Now, technically speaking, if we're being completely honest, this is my dream, right? But for it to be my dream, I need three things. I need to be able to feed myself. I need to be able to see a future in it. And lastly, I need to be happy. Right? We always did that. We always had a vision of future. I'm gonna work hard, it's gonna work, right? I'm gonna become successful because I'm working so hard. And I'm enjoying myself because I love making content. What if making content became just a way of doing things, just a way of passing days, passing time. Remember way back when it just began. The day, no backward. Then, remember then, that was then. This is now. Oh, the song. Too far. This is a corner of the world. This is a time to be ignored. This is a time to be returned where I came from. This even in this song, he's talking about how he became famous. And this is our point of return. This is when we're done, we're gonna come back here. I don't have that. Right? So then content became a way to pass days. And just to show you how uncrazy, because this is uncrazy, this is not crazy. This is close to being crazy, but it's not crazy. That was then. This is now. 2 weeks ago, we had the depression. We have a bunch. No, that's not true. 2 weeks ago, we had the depression. Yes. And all we do is game on the mobile, right? So then I'm spending days gaming, so I need more games, right? And then last week I had one good day, and at the good day, what I do, I made content. One of those videos that we did was giving up games. Why? Because I was playing too many of them. And then we had a falling down. We had a how do you say rechute? What is rechute in English? We had a a drug addict that is using again. There's a word for that, right? Possibly. Me and my friend to be gay. Enough to told it or not. Enough is enough. Me and my friend need to be gay. Whoa, this is where I came from. I'm right back at it again. Sometimes you do nails, sometimes you do hammer. I want to have a tattoo of this song. This is the one tattoo that I didn't get, that I want to get. There's a part of this song that's... So you know what? Little side note, even though we've been doing side notes for now an hour. Maybe, just maybe, I was doing song and I was choosing song knowing them unconsciously. That's a word, right? Subconsciously. I was choosing this song because I know what they were talking about. I chose this band because I knew they had a lot of songs talking about it. Maybe that's why. Maybe, just maybe, that is the reason as to why. And if it is the reason as to why, then this is a great thing, because this is an answer to a mystery. Maybe ADHD is just a different way to have the brain compartmentalize. Put it in a compartment. ID. The compartment has been open. There's a fire. This compartment contained the fire extinguisher for that fire. Let's take care of that fire. Right? So again, making content has become so much of a chore, I was playing all these games because I was depressed and I had nothing to do. I was like, you need to busy your time. You need to work. And I think it's a denial, because as long as we're working, so because everything goes wrong. The chorus of the song sucks. The lyrics of the song sucks. There's a part of this at the end, just like La La La, that is chef kisses. So yeah, so it became an automatic. This is us going to sleep. Now, do we do content the whole day? No. When I'm gonna wake up, what do you think I'm gonna do? Honestly, film. You're right. Doesn't matter if I film gaming. Doesn't matter if I film something. I'm gonna film, right? Take it away. No, next one. So yeah, so it became an automatic, right? And then I talked to you guys about, and this is when you understand that the rambling actually was quite thoughtful. The rambling was actually quite calculated. When I saw the pictures, and I told you about the pictures I saw, the video, like, oh, I remember this, I remember that, I remember this video, oh, I remember that this tastes like shit, I saw a guy that had fun doing this, and now I see a guy that has to do it, But the positive note is, the more work we do right now, the better it is. Those videos, I'm never going to be able to, this exact video that I'm doing right now, this exact feeling, how I'm feeling right now, hopefully I'll never feel like that again. Hopefully I will never go through this again. And if I was to go through this, I may be a different place in life. You know? I'm on a website, a dating website. And the amount of dudes that are saying, hey, I'm married, but I want to have a sneaky link. And that's insane. That's insane. Forget Tinder, forget Badoo. FetLife is where it's at. There's even a thing for Montreal, and some people are talking about, hey, I'm hosting a glory hole in my condo. The fuck? Don't judge, but still. I reserve the right to feel uncomfortable for glory hole in Montreal. My right to be afraid. I'll make mistakes making videos. I'm humble every step of the way. I want to be a better person. Wanna know the master plan. Cast your stone, cast your judgment. You don't make me who I am. Reserve my right to feel uncomfortable. So yeah, so maybe making videos is not healthy, right? And then, but it's my dream, right? And then I'm in a position where it's really hard because I never really had a dream. Okay, you're done. You're done. And how much percentage do you have? The batteries. How much battery do you have? 28. 28 is still pretty good. You're at 30%. You're good. You're both really good. So yeah, so you ask yourself the question of, since I've never had a dream, does dream have a time limit? If I don't realize this dream in a time limit, maybe we start believing in it. Maybe we start believing into how confident we are. Maybe we're less confident. Maybe we're less in denial. Maybe we're more interactive. I was depressed. Took out some games of the gameplay. I was able to spend more time filming videos. I'm like, okay, well, goodbye, games that I don't care about. Then we went to depress, and I re-downloaded those games. Fuck your reason for deleting those games. Fuck your reason to choosing a certain game because you like them more than others. At the end, it didn't matter. I was playing Diablo Immortal yesterday, and I was like, what the fuck am I doing? This game is not even fun. But then I was playing for 20 minutes and I need to do an hour because I'm uploading a lot of videos on the gaming channel. So I don't want to be uploading too many, so I do an hour. That way we have the maximum limit for the time limits on TikTok. Right? And that's pretty much what we need, right? Can I get a hell yeah? I was gonna do something stupid. I was gonna go on Reddit and recording, which would have given me titties and made this whole video completely useless. I could edit, but do I really look like a guy who edits? If you said no, you're right. If you said yes, you start to disappoint. I don't mean to disappoint, but I do. You know what? Let's do. You've been uploading 15%. This one has a lot of storage left. Plus tomorrow or the day after, we're gonna be doing so much more. Why are you only at 16 minutes? I don't know. La 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 la. Couple seconds and you can tell what I was thinking. Pretty fantastic, right? Pretty fucking brilliant, right? So yeah, so maybe somewhere along the way we've lost passion, we lost the desire. Maybe we lost confidence and that affected our desire. You see, I told you guys about, and this is very personal, but I had this feeling of loneliness, right? And I was like, you know what? A girlfriend would be nice. A girlfriend would be really nice, right? And we found a couple girls. Oh, I would love to say the twins. They're not twins. The biggest defeat of my life. But they were very sexual. Now due to depression, I lost all libido. This feeling of wanting to fuck. All I ever wanted, I got it. And because of depression, I had to give it up, right? But it still affected me because I didn't come in to say, hey, I want to fuck you. I went to say, hey, want to date? And they said, no, I prefer fucking. Okay, I'm good with that. But we still had this mentality of this is possible. A relationship is possible. Then depression said, hey, this relationship is not possible. Now, there's a lot of less time. There's the one day you're like, hey, she could be a girlfriend. They say like, nah, I don't need a girlfriend, dude. I need to take care of myself. Right? And that's unstable. Then depression and emotion will make you unstable. This is quite normal. This is show you a world outside of say what's only right. I think this is the only song that I love that he's streaming. It's actually pretty rare. Listen to this. It's actually pretty good too. Yeah. It's funny that the first time we listened to that song, I was actually reading Attack on Titans. I'm so ADHD that I used to listen to music. It's a true story. I used to listen to music while reading mangas. And then you ask me, why did you read manga so often? Why did you reread the same manga so often? Oh, I fucking don't know. But yeah, so just with relationship and then making content, and also, I was complaining yesterday that like there's some people that are in my life that I prefer. I prefer talking to X, Y, and Z versus A, B, and C because A, B, and C can suck a cock, right? Just not mine. Three was only rise. People can understand. See, I had this person that's really involved in my life, my TikTok life, and she has a boyfriend, right? And there's no romantic interest towards her. And then there's another girl that's also in my life often, and there's romantic interest there. And then she was texting me and I wasn't answering. It's like, oh, you're with that person. And I was like, okay, I'm not with that person. She has a boyfriend. And she didn't believe me. She wanted me to go tell the other girl, fuck off. For no absolute reason. So I was like, what the fuck? But then again, can you blame the person? No, they're insecure. They possibly been cheating on in the past. And that's okay, that's normal. It's not their fault. It's repeated behavior. It is concerned via a trauma. Or a trauma that created a response, a traumatic response to a trauma. But yeah, it's just a complex. Then I think dealing with people in general is complex. Depression, not depression, right? Not depression, you're more down. Like, for example, right? Yesterday I was talking about depression. Somebody came into the live and talked about themselves. And I'm like, okay, well, it's okay. It's a social place, but still, have a little bit of compassion, but and that's fine. That's fine. They don't need to have compassion. They don't owe me compassion. They don't owe me shit. They owe me absolutely jack shit. I don't know who's Jack, but still. We're making content. Let's go back to making content. I don't know. It's just such a weird feeling. It's such a weird place to be. I got my mom who was asking me about how I'm doing every single day. She wrote me a fantastic test today. She wrote me a fantastic text yesterday. That cheered me up. And ultimately, this is both love, but this is both love and this is both social activity, right? But if I wasn't your son, would you give a fuck? It's not earned love. It's not earned love. It's undying love. I loved you one day. I'll never stop loving you, which I'm really, 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 really thankful for. But still. So that's pretty much what happened, And then with making content, let's go back to making content. Maybe the dream was never a dream. Maybe which is the easy way out, There's also this need for financial. It's supposed to be a dream, right? And you remember what I said about people wanting something which was finance, right? Love, finance. It's another one. So without not knowingly, we're still following this hive mind of this preconceived belief of what you need to be happy, right? I remember being 21, 22, and being explained what is the pyramid of theorem. I don't remember who that guy is, but it's basically basic need, right? Better needs and luxury. So as long as I have these needs fulfilled, I can go here. If I have those needs fulfilled, then I can go here, right? And this is how you make a budget. This is how you save money. This is how you stop spending for things that you don't need. Yeah. See, the amount of clouds we have right now, kind of crazy. I'm telling you, maybe in half an hour, we're gonna be done. We're gonna be sleeping because, again, I don't have the battery to continue. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That is pretty much it. That was then. This is now. Um. So with making content, and there's nothing. I think one of the best thing ever. One of the best thing ever is that it's part of the routine. You don't even think about it. You have free time. Let's make a video. Why? Because you don't want to have to constantly ask yourself, "Oh man, I should possibly do a video." The more normal it feels, the more you're gonna do it. Let me tell you. Let me ask you a question. When you want to drink something, what is your first thought? You possibly said water, right? You hopefully said water. And then the second question you ask yourself is, how did he know? Well, most people are gonna say water, right? I know it's weird to believe, but it is true, right? Now, why do most people believe it's water? Because we're raised and we're bred into thinking that water is a resource. The first resource that you're gonna drink is a mother's milk, then it's water, and then if you're lucky enough, it's gonna be juice, and if you're even luckier, you're gonna get sodas, and even if you're luckier and luckier and luckier, you're gonna have energy drinks, and if you're luckier, you're gonna have alcohol. You're still drinking something, and chances are that this something contains water. But then again, your first thought, no matter what you drink second, is water. Because this is the common denominator everywhere. So yeah. Then, so when you're thirsty and you think about water, this is normal, right? When you're hungry and you have the same snack every single time, doesn't matter what it is, cheese, nuts, balls. The idea came from nuts and balls. Which one of my favorite meals, one of my favorite snacks, it's not nuts and ball. My apologies for the people that were expecting that. It's nuts and bits, which is something that's fucking mwah. Pretzel, Shredders cereal, and little Ringolo, delicious. So bolted nuts. I think it's bolted nuts more than whatever I said. Then these are normal. If working becomes a second nature like those two things, then you don't really have to think about what you're doing. It just becomes an automatic, and you don't have to force yourself, and it comes more naturally. Ask somebody to do the same job for 10 years. Ask a prodigy to do the same job for a week. The 10 years is going to be better. Ask a guy to be training this shooting at a bow. Give him 10 months, he'll become Legolas. Give it 2 weeks, he'll become Frodo. Did you see Frodo shooting arrows? No, you didn't. But then we're in May, so let's do Star Wars. Give me a young Anakin versus a fully fledged Yoda. Who's gonna win? They're both the same height. Bad jokes, poor jokes. My apologies, not really. May the force be with you, both of you. I'm back at it again, just like I've always said. See? And this is exactly what we're talking about. Right back at it again. It's doing the same thing. This normalcy there's a cost to this normalcy. Now, ultimately, the cost is very, very small, right? Very small. But then it becomes a normal. Not sure. When you're thirsty, you think about water, but does that mean that you want to drink water? Possibly not. Right? Possibly not. When you have your same alarm clock at the same time every single day of your life, you want to wake up? No, but possibly you have to. That's just the way life is. We're making content. Are we really wanting to make content, or is it just more natural? Or do we wake up making content because we want to, or because, this is what I did yesterday, this is what I did the day before, this is what I did the month before, this is what I did the year before. This is what we've been doing for 4 years, right? Kind of crazy. So this is very, I wouldn't say challenging per se, but it's really weird because you don't think about it before you think about it, and when you do think about it, it's crazy. Because the second that you ask yourself, do I really want to do things? The motivation to do X or Z thing is a lot lower. Because the motivation is a lot lower, then you start asking yourself more questions. Because if you start asking yourself more questions, you're less motivated. It's a vicious cycle, right? So, is it still a dream? Is it still something that I want to do? Right? And again, I know what you're saying. Ink, you work so hard. How can you not believe that's what you want to do? What you want to do? What if that thought? What if that thought was peppered with I had nothing better to do. I had this need for social. All of these days where I talk a lot are days that I didn't talk to anybody else. So I'm talking to this self, and I'm yapping, I'm yapping, I'm yapping. People are like, yo, how come you're yapping so much? Dude, you went to school, you talk to your friends, you went to your hockey, because we're Canadian, practice, you talk to your friends, you go back home, Shibidu, we're home, you talk to your friends. Did I do that? Do you think I did that? No. Put everything that she said in one day. You talked for possibly 10 hours. I'm talking for 2 hours, right? So yeah, I don't know. But then for the first time asking myself, what am I supposed to do? I think that's like a really good question, right? The problem with content creation is I treated it as a plan A when it was a plan B. I was like, I'm not making money, but I'll be making money. Right? And it was my greatest strength. Whenever I was bullied at work, I was like, yo, fuck you. I'm gonna be doing something greater than what you ever were gonna become. And I was making content, right? So already speaking, we're using this as an excuse to do something better. But it's denial. Because I think I'm better than you. Not because I think I'm better than you, because I hate you and I don't want to be you. Talking about songs like, you thought you were there to guide me, you were only in my way. Right? That's crazy to think. Now with music, we got 19% left. So when we're finishing this video, that's it for today. And yeah, that's and that was the excuse. And people were asking me, hey, you think it's really gonna happen? And people try to tell me nicely, yo, dude, you're supposed to get a job. And I was like, no, this is gonna work, right? This is gonna work. And I think at some point, along the way, we got desperate. And we started making a lot more content because it wasn't working. So I was like, okay, well, let's make more videos. Now, the greatest thing with making this amount of videos is I don't have that work that I did back then. I will never have to do it again. Because I already did it. The greatest thing about this is when I'm going to be working, I won't have to film. We've got so much content out there already. The best thing is I'm part of less than 1%. In 4 years, I'd have 48,000 videos. I don't know how much videos I have, actually. I have no clue. 28, I think it's 28, I think 30, possibly 30. Let's say 30 for the sake of the argument. Then we have the gaming channel with a total of 8,000 videos. 8,000 videos, that's a lot, right? Now, 700 of those videos are tower, but still. So with making content, it's just hard. And I think this is depression. I think this is what's bringing the depression. I was thinking about, I wasn't thinking, I was talking to Jordy yesterday. And Jordy painted or tainted, I don't know what he said in English, but she dyed her hair. She didn't die, thank God. This is not a rest in peace Jordy video. Not yet. I hope I'll never have to do this video because I love the girl. 50%. See, we're close. But she dyed her hair, and then she used the term. And Jordy's fucking 16 years old, right? She's like my little sister that I fucking hate. I don't hate Jordy, it's just the way of talking. But she's 16 and she told me this is my coping mechanism. And I was like, what the fuck is my coping mechanism? Is it making videos? You know? And I think because the depression is persisting or persistent. It doesn't go away like that. I think that's why we're so fucked. Look at this. It's gonna be cloudy for sure. Maybe raining. Who knows? I don't know because I'll be sleeping. But yeah, so this is where we're going. And this is not the first time I'm depressed. This is not the first time I'm sad. This is not the first time I'm going through something. This is not the first time. And you know what? I'm going to tell you a secret. This is not the last time. Trust and believe that. You know? Right? It's the first time I'm thinking about like that. I'm thinking about, is it really worth it? And then you're thinking about something else, which is even more important, in case you didn't realize. Because maybe you didn't realize. Who knows? Maybe. What if I told you a secret? And that secret was that people always ask me, what are you going to be doing in 10 years? And my idea was always, I'm going to make content. Because I'm not going to stop making content. I love making content. Today was a beautiful morning. And I'm so grateful that I did this. But the reality is, in 10 years, I know I'm going to be making content. But the reality is, I don't know if in 10 years I'll be enjoying it as much as I am. I don't know if, because of course, by making content, you're more aware of what's being done. You're more aware of what kind of content is being done. And you see the lolcow, and you see people that are getting stepped on and ridiculized every single day. And people that are paying to ridiculize those people because they're sad, right? And they're paying it. And then when you ask the people being ridiculized or people being humiliated on a daily, why do you do it? Because they're trapped. There's no escape for them. They're stuck in this cycle of, if I don't make content, I don't get money. If I don't get money, I cannot survive. What if that was me? Am I afraid of that? Possibly. I don't know. I don't know. I have no clue. Right? I know when making content, it's a great thing. Because this is the only thing I can control. I can only control what I do. What the neighbors do, I don't know. I love them, but I don't know. Right? So I don't know where this is going. And for the first time, I'm asking myself where this is going. See, I've always treated this content creation as a plan A. And it should have been a plan B, you know? But then, I think that if it was a plan B, I would have not put as much effort as we did. Right? But then the only that I can tell about my content is I don't have the best content. Not even close. The only thing I can tell about the content I'm making is, at the very least, I put in some effort. And more work, you know? And that is something. That is a positive, right? And ultimately speaking, positively speaking, positive. If anything at all, I'll be able to say I did this and I tried, you know? And for the first time in my life, I stuck to something. I tried something, you know? And yeah, the fact that we're 32 years old, you know? It doesn't help. This feeling of loneliness, it's not because I'm lonely, it's because we're getting older. You know? I was dating this girl in January, Noemi. Amazing woman. Amazing woman. Super chill, super supportive. But then, you ask her, why are you single? You're an amazing woman. Then there's an incident of how she acts. That you're like, okay, well, I understand. And I'm not trying to be mean. I know why you're single, you know? But then at the same time, for me, this is the best opportunity that I ever gotten. You know, my age, she's mature. Having plenty of conversation. It's going well. What if the best thing that I could get was something I had to complain about? That's a fear, you know? See, my biggest fear is I associated. Oh, this is bad. This is really bad. I associated making content with happiness. Makes sense, right? But then if you ask me what is the definition of happiness, I don't fucking know. So how am I associating something that I don't know, something that I do know, and I don't know? Right? I don't want to be a prison. This was a way to escape. Making content was a way to escape real life. And I don't want real life to be the reason why we're trying to escape making content. You know? I've been having so much problem with being Ink and being Steph, being two different people. I don't know. Is it because I want to be Steph again? Or is it because Ink is not successful, but maybe Steph has to be? And when you ask me, Ink has accomplished more in 4 years than Steph has done in his entire life. Steph hasn't accomplished a lot. Ink did something, right? And maybe we're mad at this. Maybe we're self-conscious about this. Maybe this is bothering us to a point where this is a reason to self-loathe. Should have done more, you know? You know? Maybe after 4 years I should know where the fuck I'm going. Maybe the fact that I don't know is a problem. Right? Maybe. The greatest thing about maybes, right? And we'll be finishing the video on that. The greatest thing about a maybe is that when you ask a question, you get answer. Right? was a question I never asked myself. I never ever asked myself that. And maybe I should have. Maybe that was something I should have done a long time ago. Maybe that was the answer. Maybe if I asked myself the question a year ago, I'd have known the answer. Right? But I didn't. I didn't. The greatest thing about asking yourself a question is you get an answer. The worst thing about asking yourself a question, it might not be the answer that you want. The best thing about asking yourself a question is you're trying to improve your life. Because the question comes from a need to know. A need to know is a need to be taking a decision, right? The worst thing about that is, until you find those answers, you keep on wondering why. And I'm going to tell you a secret. The number of times that I asked myself why versus the number of times when I had answers, it's not great. What is great is that we're done. We're going to sleep. This is this for today. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching this. Have a nice day. Have a nice evening. Love ya. Peace.